I'm Dr. Frita, and today I'm giving you 15 foods to avoid if you have diabetes that you might already be eating. Diabetes is so common. In fact, according to the CDC, 1 out of every 10 Americans has it. And that's not even including the people who have pre-diabetes. So here's the big deal. Diabetes is a leading cause of heart disease, strokes, poor circulation, poor wound healing, amputations. And trust me, as a board-certified kidney doctor, I see firsthand that diabetes is the number 1 cause of kidney failure. It's the number 1 reason that I see people in my dialysis unit. You don't want it. So yes, we have lots of medications that can treat diabetes, but here's the key. It's important what you put in your mouth. Your diet matters. And so if you know some of the foods to avoid if you have diabetes, you can have better control. And if you don't have diabetes, it can even help you to prevent yourself from getting it. So please listen carefully and share this video with the people you care about, because I'm about to give you 15 foods to avoid if you have diabetes. Keep watching. Would you like my undivided attention as we discuss your specific medical journey? If so, you are in luck, because I offer a concierge telehealth service where you can get my direct input on your health concerns. Be sure to click the link below. I'm Dr. Frita. Please go ahead and like this video and share it, because I'm about to give you some good evidence-based information. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you'll be among the first to know when I release new content. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about these 15 foods to avoid. Number 1, white bread, rice, and pasta. Now, I know that these can be a base for most meals. You make your sandwiches with white bread, you have your toast in the morning. Of course, you like pasta, you like rice. But quite honestly, if you have diabetes, you want to avoid these foods because they have a high glycemic index. Having a high glycemic index means that these foods can shoot your blood sugar up very rapidly. And so if you have diabetes, you want to avoid these ultra-processed foods. There are options. You can get breads that have a low carbohydrate content or low glycemic index. You can use pastas that are made of zucchini or squash or kale. I had some kale noodles just this past weekend. And then instead of rice, you can try things like quinoa. Try to substitute whole grains for these foods if you have diabetes. Number 2, please avoid sugary beverages. Yes, beverages like sugary sodas or even energy drinks or sweetened coffees, teas, or even fruit juices. Now here's a trick. When I say something like a soda, a regular soda, you know that has high sugar, and so that's probably pretty obvious. But just because something is a fruit juice, that doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. Make sure you pay attention to the carbohydrate content and the sugar content, even of these fruit juices that seem to be healthy, because guess what? They can send your blood sugar up as well. And then we think about coffee and tea. Well, if you're having black coffee or unsweetened tea, well, of course, that's not going to send your blood sugar up. But it's when you go into these wonderful coffee shops and you get the sweetest kind of coffee you can find with all kinds of creams and sugars and sweeteners and whipped cream. Well, that's what can send your blood sugar up. So you want to avoid those. And when it comes to energy drinks, don't be fooled. Make sure that you're a label watcher and check the sugar content. You want to avoid these things if you have diabetes. So what can you do? Well, of course, you can drink water. For most adults, that's going to be between 2 and 3 liters of water, or maybe 3/4 of a gallon. Consult with your physician, or you can use sugar substitutes. But again, consult with your physician, because not all sugar substitutes are created equally. Bottom line, if you have diabetes, pre-diabetes, or if you are at risk, you want to avoid sugary beverages. Number 3, I don't even have to say this one because you already know. You already know. Candy. You know that candy is loaded with sugar and it will send your blood sugar up. And here are some jelly beans, because who doesn't love jelly beans? Well, if you have diabetes, you really should not, because jelly beans, candy bars, lollipops, all of these things are loaded with sugar. So try to do something different. If you simply must have some form of a candy, try a dark chocolate, okay, with a very low sugar content, or try some sugar-free candies, Or if you have a sweet tooth, then try some fruit. Be careful though, because fruits still do have natural sugars, they still do have carbs, so make sure you consult with your physician and your dietitian to find out the carb count that's right for you and which fruits are safe for you if you have diabetes. Number 4, baked goods. Oh yes, baked goods like donuts, cookies, cakes, cupcakes. If you have diabetes, I'm asking you to avoid these things because when you have the real sugar and these ultra-processed flours, these ultra-processed foods, they can be really bad for your diabetes. They can send your blood sugar up. They have a high carbohydrate load, and they're just not good for you. Not to fear, there are some things you can do. You can bake your own goods, or you can make sure that you eat baked goods that are made with sugar substitutes or with low-carb flours or even nut flours. There are options, but if you have diabetes, then having these baked goods, these ultra-processed baked foods, you want to avoid it. I'm talking about foods to avoid if you have diabetes, but what if I'm talking to you and you don't even know it? In other words, what if you have diabetes or pre-diabetes and you have not been diagnosed? Well, first off, please consult with your physician to make sure you're checked, okay? Get a hemoglobin A1C checked, and also be sure to check out my video, 7 huge warning signs and symptoms of diabetes, after you finish watching this video. All right, number 5, you want to avoid canned fruits, okay? Fruits that are canned with all of this sugar, this syrupy water, they're not good for you. And I know that we talk about all of the servings of fruits that you should have a day, but when we do that, we're not talking about the canned fruits because they, again, are just loaded down with preservatives and with sugar that is not good for your diabetes. What you can do instead is have fresh fruit. You want to have fresh strawberries, fresh blueberries, or if you're going to have something that's packaged, a fruit that's packaged, make sure that it's packaged in water and not in sugar. Number 6, dried fruits. Again, just because the word fruit is in there does not mean that it's healthy. Here's a scary thing about dried fruits. Yes, they are delicious. Yes, they're sweet. Yes, they say that they're fruit. They are, but if you look at the label, you'll find that the concentration of sugar in dried fruits is very high. And so you want to avoid the dried fruits or certainly eat them in moderation. So if you're someone, for example, who likes dried cranberries and you want to put them on your salads and you think that it's healthy, it can make your blood sugar spike up. So instead, use fresh fruit like fresh cranberries or fresh blueberries or fresh strawberries in your salads, even kiwi. But again, if you have diabetes, pre-diabetes, or if you are at risk, you want to avoid the concentrated sugar of dried fruits. Number 7, I'm about to make y'all mad. Breakfast cereals. You want to avoid breakfast cereals with high sugar. Yes, I know a lot of people eat breakfast cereals for breakfast. And you'll look at the boxes at the grocery stores and these different cereals will say fat-free. But when you look at the label, they're loaded with sugar, loaded with carbohydrates. And if you have diabetes, this is something you want to avoid. Yeah, I'm sorry. But here's the thing. There are cereals that you can have. These cereals should be low in carbohydrates and high in fiber. Again, consult with your physician and consult with your dietitian. Question. As I list all of these foods to avoid if you have diabetes, I want you to tell me which of these foods is going to be the hardest for you to give up and why. Comment down below. I want to hear. Number 8, fatty fried food. Now, if you're from the South like I am, then, fried food can be a staple, especially fried chicken. But truth of the matter is that if you have diabetes, you really should avoid it. When you're dealing with fatty fried foods, it's bad for so many reasons. One, it can lead to an increase in insulin resistance, okay? It can make you gain weight and it can increase your belly fat or your abdominal fat, which again, can decrease your insulin resistance and make your diabetes worse, or it can shift you from pre-diabetes to actually having diabetes. And it can also do so many other bad things, such as being bad for your heart health, causing high cholesterol, clogging your arteries. So you definitely want to avoid these fatty fried foods. That doesn't mean you can't still have fun. You can still enjoy yourself. If you're going to cook your meats, make sure that you grill them or bake them. Try not to add too much salt. Get more creative with your flavors by using things like garlic, lemon zest, even pepper. But definitely, if you have diabetes, you want to avoid these fatty fried foods. Number 9, honey. Honey, agave, nectar. I don't care what kind of fancy name you use. Check the label. It's still sugar. It's still high in carbohydrates, and you should still avoid it if you have diabetes. Yes. If you simply must have a sweetener, try to use a substitute like stevia. Again, consult with your physician and your dietitian. And actually test yourself out. You may not always need sugar like you think you do. For example, if you're a tea drinker like I am, use a little lemon. Lemon is great. It's loaded with vitamin C. It's loaded with citrate. That's good for your digestion, can help prevent kidney stones. But definitely understand that just because the word sugar is not in the name, it doesn't mean that it's a good sweetener. Avoid these things if you have diabetes. Now, as you watch this video, make sure you like it and share it with the people you care about. But you might be thinking, Dr. Frita, you're telling us all these things to avoid, but you're not telling us what to do. Have no fear. Make sure you check out my video on how to lower your blood sugar naturally after you finish watching this video. Breakfast syrups with sugar. Now, if you are a traditionalist, then you think that you can't have any kind of a pancake or a biscuit. Ooh, those things are high in carbs too. You should avoid them. You may think that you absolutely have to put these sugary syrups on them, but there are options. You can use a sugar-free syrup, or instead of using syrup at all, you can just use fruits, okay? Blueberries, strawberries. Again, consult with your physician and your dietitian to make sure that you're within your carb count, even if you're using fruits. But yes, avoid syrups with a lot of sugar. Alcohol. Yes. Alcohol. It is full of carbs, especially if you're someone who likes to drink a lot of beer. You want to be a carb counter. Now, there are many reasons that it is recommended that you avoid alcohol, especially in excess. But if you are a person with diabetes or pre-diabetes, then it's even more prudent that you avoid a lot of alcohol. It can send your blood sugar up, increase your belly fat, and it's just bad news if you have diabetes. I know I'm giving y'all a lot of what seems like bad news when it comes to these foods and drinks I'm telling you to avoid, but here's some good news. I have a freebie for you. Yes, if you click the link in my description, I have a free PDF download that will give you 10 healthy habits for a better you and a better life. These are the very habits that I use in my day-to-day life to try to live my healthiest, happiest life. Make sure you download it and share it with someone you care about. Number 12, fast food. You already know, fast food is loaded with high fats, high sugars, high salt, bad for you for many reasons, especially if you have diabetes. Now, there are options. Now, if you go to many of the fast food restaurants, they'll have salads, they'll have lettuce wraps. You can substitute lettuce for your bread. Yeah, they'll look at you a little bit crazy, but you can do it. So if you're in a situation where you must have fast food, look for the healthy options. Oftentimes they'll even have the calories listed, the carbs listed. But as far as the traditional fast foods, and you know what they are, it's something you want to avoid. Also, look into meal prep. Most of the times when we go to fast food, it's because we don't have a lot of time, we have to move. But if you take the time and prepare and do healthy meal prep, you can keep yourself from being in situations where you're dependent upon fast food. Number 13, fatty meats. If you have a lot of fatty meats, this can be bad for your diabetes. The fatty meats can decrease your insulin sensitivity and worsen your blood sugar levels. And when I'm talking about fatty meats, I mean marbled steaks like ribeye. I know ribeye tastes good to you, but it's a fatty meat. It's not good for you if you have diabetes. But you can still eat meat if you do enjoy meat. Just do a lean meat, okay? Like a lean sirloin. Or do a fish, like a salmon, mackerel, halibut. You know, those fish are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, so that's good for you. If you eat chicken, make sure you eat white meat chicken. And take the skin off, if you please. But again, you want to avoid fatty meats. Also, avoid these ultra-processed meats, like bacon or these deli meats that are prepackaged. And, of course, avoid having a lot of salty pork. You can also try plant-based meat substitutes, but make sure you read the label and check the salt content. Number 14, you want to avoid condiments that are high in sugar. I have ketchup here. I know y'all love ketchup and y'all like to load it down on your fries and on your sandwiches, and you don't really count it when you're doing your carb counts, but pay attention because ketchup and especially barbecue sauce, oh my gosh, You could be making yourself a nice, really lean piece of white meat, grilled chicken. But if you add barbecue sauce, check the label. It could be loaded with sugar. And if you have diabetes, it's something to avoid. Number 15, ice cream and full-fat dairy products. If you have diabetes, it's something you want to avoid. You know ice cream can be loaded with sugar and can spike your blood sugar levels. Now, there are some creamy substitutes you can try. You can try a chia pudding, okay? Or you can even try kind of your homemade strawberry ice cream that's not really ice cream. For example, you can chop yourself up some strawberries and use a low-fat yogurt or even a low-fat non-dairy yogurt or some type of a cream or an almond milk or a nut milk. Put that in a blender. You can pour it in little cups or you can pour it in a tray, freeze it, pull it out, and it can give you that creamy consistency without giving you the problems that ice cream can have for your blood sugar. As always, consult with your physician and dietitian for some safe alternatives. Question: which food on this list of foods to avoid was the most shocking to you? Like, which one did you think was healthy and now you know it's not really good for your diabetes? I want you to please put it in the comment section down below. So there you have it. These are 15 of the foods to avoid if you have diabetes, some of which you're probably already eating, but that's okay. Please be sure to like this video and to share it with the people you care about. As always, I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate you for support. And again, make sure you subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell so you'll be among the first to know when I release new content. And I have a lot of content. Thank you so much. I want you to do your best to live your healthiest, happiest life. I'm Dr. Frita. Number 14, condiments that are high in sugar. Never mind, it's not gonna work. Never mind.
Ow.
Dang.
Are you okay?
What more?
Are you okay?
Dang.
Okay, go on upstairs.
Also?
Is it recording?
Yeah.